Today we're going to be working on this thing again, bit of a follow up to it. When I left this before, I'd repaired it and got it working, so check out that video if you haven't seen that already. In this part of the video, I'm going to convert to 240 volts from 110 volts. Did it work? Oh yes it did, because I've already done it. Watch the video and see what I did. So the next thing I need to do is look at adding a transformer to drop this down from 240 volts down to 110 volts. Now I've got this transformer here. It may or may not fit. It's only a 10 watt transformer. I think it needed 15 from memory. 15 watt definitely won't fit. 10 watt might just go in there and it might be okay. If it overheats a bit, it's probably not a big deal. It's not going to get a lot of use. It's only going to get powered up for short times whilst testing a valve. It's not going to be on for a long time. So I think I might get away with it. But the biggest problem is trying to get it to fit. There's the existing transformer here. There's no room to put it here. And this is taking up the full height of the box. This is full height. Looking at it, I'm thinking if I unmount this transformer and there's a bit of sort of space around it, I might be able to get angles where I can actually fit both transformers in at the same time. So I'm going to unmount it first and just try jiggling around and see if I can get them both to fit. That's going to be the hardest part. So I've taken the bolts out, but I really just want to try and see if I can like shove it into like a corner like this or something like that, and then try and see if I can squeeze this in somehow. It's that kind of thing I want to try and do. Like that. I mean that might go like that even. This, although it's mounted this way, that way will fit. So if I absolutely had to, I could flip this on this end, bend one of these lugs around, or bend them both around, and then bolt through one lug and just hope for the best. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather bolt it properly, but it depends on how it fits. I mean, that's not too bad, but also I don't want the two transformers touching either. I would like to have a gap between them if I can. We have these bolts coming through here. These aren't so important. These are those little pin straighteners. I might be able to like move them down a bit or something like that and just shift them out the side slightly like that. I'm not too worried about doing that. But I think there's probably a big enough gap there to be alright. I reckon that will fit just like that. I'm going to also try and be careful about where I'm drilling, because I don't want to destroy all the front panel markings, right? So if I can avoid going through the text of the bolt, all the better. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that or not. So what I'm looking at right now is that this pot has got this little locating post there. It doesn't actually go right through to the front panel, it's just sitting on the back. I could actually use that through that bolt hole and tuck it out underneath, and that will actually give me a much larger space. It also holds the end of it without drilling a second hole. That will mean I can probably tip this around enough to get this one above that text, so I'm not putting a bolt hole through that text. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to loosen this off, stick it underneath that tab. This is holding one end. It might be bolted, but it'll be holding it, and then use one on the other side, and that will probably be good enough. So I've taken the knob off. I've got this socket which should actually fit. Now, can I turn it? Oh, barely. That was a struggle. Okay. That might be enough. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Set it on back up again. And like I said, that will hold one end of the transformer at least. Get this sitting properly, there we go. Tighten that back up again. So that's at least retained on one end, and obviously the bolt at the other end is going to have to do all the work. Got a 3.5mm drill bit. I've marked the holes up where I want them to go. So there's one just there, and there's obviously one just over here, which you can't see on camera. So I should just be able to drill through this, and I'm not too worried about exact positioning. This is where it's got to go. If I go through text, I go through text. I don't think I will be just here, but I think there I'm okay. There we go, that's one. It's a bit precarious. Okay. Got some Loctite here, I use that. It's a chrome screw, it's kind of obvious, it's not original, but you know, yeah. It'd be nice to keep something more like the original, but I don't have that. Now I just want to make sure it's all in. Now I'm going to put some thread lock on that. Try and get some underneath it before I do it right down. So now I've got it kind of in place. I've got my little screwdriver driver thing here, nut driver. Just makes things a lot better to do. Get it nice and tight without slipping off. There we go. So that's that original transformer re-secured. I mean, it isn't perfect at that end. I mean, it's in place. It's alright, it's fine. I think this is basically end up resting on the bottom of the box anyway, so I don't think it's really an issue. I just have to make sure these wires here are routed out the way and not pulling on anything, that sort of stuff. I might have to do some cable management in here once I'm finished with it. Black is the output, red is the input. Now, what I'm going to do is where these original wires are, these are the original AC wires, this is where these black ones are going to go to. One thing I do want to do as well is when I put a new power cable on this, I also need to earth the casing. So this panel needs to be earthed. So I also need to look at how I'm going to do that. Now, I do actually have a few places I could do that, but I might actually do it when I'm mounting the transformer. It's not a very heavy duty cable. It feels a bit weak, but that's fine. It doesn't use much power, so it's perfect for this. What I'm going to do is cut the plug off the end and run that through and wire this into the circuitry. I've only got this space here to put the cable into. This will only just fit in there. Right, if I stick it in like that, it will just go and the lid will shut, it will fit in there. You know, it does just fit inside the case, which is why I've chosen this cable. So I'll just cut the tops of those two bolts off, which are sticking out to reduce the amount they're sticking out by. I'll bend these tabs a little bit as well, and that'll then sit in there quite nicely. Actually, I was going to put it around the other way around, that way around. And I should be able to get an earth tab on one side or the other, probably that side. I'll put it. The main power cable comes in roughly in the middle here somewhere, so I've got to join all these in the centre here somewhere. Well, since I cut those bolts down and actually bent these tabs, I think I can actually use the original screws. Brilliant, so I can keep it as original as possible. So there'll be one odd screw out on the front panel. Let's cut this power cable off and run the new one through and get the termination stuff ready. So power cable, we're going to cut the wires off so I can make sure I see where they go. One there and one here. Don't cut the wrong one. Just like that. Obviously I need to put some kind of gland, or I'll put something around it anyway, stop it getting pulled out. Well, I stripped off the ground wire. This is the bit I always struggle with, doing nice crimps. I'm not very good at crimping. It's not one of the things I'm good at, so let's just see how we go. It may or may not work well. Hey, it went alright. That makes a change. So I put some heat shrink on this one, which is going to be the neutral. There's no internal fusing on this thing, and I like to find a solution of putting a fuse inside it. I would like to put a fuse in it. I don't like to have mains equipment which isn't fused. I think it's a good idea. So fusing is something I'm really keen on doing. And I put two pieces of heat shrink on here. The idea is to put two over it. One over the initial join and then one over the top of that, just to give it a double layer of insulation. Because I think that's always a good idea on mains equipment, if you can. Give it heaps. Let that cool down before I try and do the second piece, otherwise it will shrink as I'm pushing it over. So I'm actually really tempted to mount a fuse holder on the front panel. There's no nice way of doing it on the casing because it's all wooden, but I thought the front panel was possible. I can actually fit it right here. There's a spot there I could put it. Obviously it means modifying the front panel, which is a bit of a shame. Keeping it original would be nice. You know, there would be really good for it, but the transformer's in the way now, so I can't put it there. So over here somewhere, it's possible, and it's also near the wiring, so I could also just run the wire straight to this. I think that'd be a nice way of doing it. I would definitely want to put a fuse holder in it. I'm going to earth here. Terminal just goes over the screw, which is good because there's a nice clean fit then. Got a washer to go over top of that. And the original nut. Lovely. I did the first hole. Do another one here. So now I need to use a reamer because I've got to get this up to the size I need to get that fuse holder in there. So, not a big deal. Doesn't take long with the reamer. It actually goes through really quickly. And it's actually better than using a drill bit, trying to get the drill bits right. Once you get to a certain size, then I'll just go to reamer. It's usually easier and sometimes even faster. And you've also got a bit more control over what sort of size you go into. So I will get up to this size. It's just about there. One more hit, I think. Let's clean all these metal shavings away so I don't get a splinter. And now I'm going to use this little reamer here just to take that burr off the edge. Get it all nice, and I'll do the inside edge as well. Like that. And I bet you that will now fit. Well, there's a pretty good chance it will fit. Should actually get some more of these. I bought a bunch of them a little while ago. I should definitely get some more. Yeah, just about go. There we go. Perfect. So this socket I had before seems to fit this nut too. Look at that. How's that for convenient? Now I want to try and get it so the fuse is actually, when it's screwed in, that it's the right orientation. I don't want it wonky like that. I want it nice and straight. So if I do that up nice and tight now, it should actually straighten it out. Now it's got these little nylon washers on there. It's actually pushing out the side. Not sure I'm a fan of that. Front one's okay. Back one's pushing out. I think I might take the nylon wash off the back. I'm not liking that. Yeah, that'll do. Beautiful. Happy with that. Let's wire it up. Sorry about the noise, I've got my fume extractor turned on now. So I'm going to solder this wire here. Okay, that's ready. So what I've done is I've prepared some piece of heat shrink. Put a piece on this one already. Got a piece on the drive wire from the cable. I've also got this larger one. This is going to go over the entire fuse holder. Right, so I've got to thread all these through this so that when I've attached everything, I can just slide that over the whole lot as well. So I'm basically double insulating the fuse holder as well. I just like to do insulation on things like this. Let's do the other one. I think this time I'll give it a bit of a scrape because it seems like it's having trouble getting the solder to attach. I'll make it easy for ourselves. Can make a difference. So I've soldered those two wires on. Heat shrink there. Hold on, let's just turn this off. It's a bit quieter. Happy with that. That's all attached now. The earth is attached. So all I've really got to do is some cable management now. And just try and tidy this up as much as I can and get this all more nicely arranged. I basically want to run these around like this. Now I've got to take what was the neutral from here and attach the neutral from the transformer, which is right here. So I need to do some soldering on this. Let's just get it prepared first. And let's take this old wire off. Hopefully I can just pull it out. But it might be wrapped, I'm not sure. Cool, I can pull it out. Great. Let's see if we can put the other one back in. So we can find the hole. It's always trouble trying to find a hole sometimes. Just ask your wife. Well, it's in place. I wouldn't say it's in the hole, but you know. Yeah, it's in there. My iron's only at 290 degrees, so it's a bit slow. I might put it up a little bit, struggling slightly. Yeah, it is wrapped. I can probably just pull it all out, it's fine. There we go, that's out I think. Yep, that's all out. We get this wire. Now I'm also going to put some heat shrink around this one. But first I'm going to put some new solder on the end there. If I can get it so it's not sitting somewhere awkward. Get the heat shrink. Stick it through the hole. I think I might do it through from this side. Come on, there's the hole. Doesn't want to go through. Yeah, it's partially through. Enough. Do that. At least gives us a little bit of protection. Maybe not perfect, but it's some. Now, obviously, when the switch is off, that'll be live there as well. So I'm also thinking I should put something over that. Alright, let's shrink those down. This one here is a little bit short actually, but it'll do, I think. Pinch it. And fold it over, that way I know there's nothing in there. Okay. I think that's the wiring done. I think we're basically done. So let's put the mains cable through. So we'll put a cable tie on that. I just want to figure out what length I'm going to get. So like, I'll probably want to make it so I can like flip it over one way like that maybe, so you can work on it. You want to have something so you can, I don't know, even that way you can just flip it around in reverse. That could even work, couldn't it? Keep as much cable on the outside as possible to allow for it to come into the inside. Let's have a look. Hopefully those stay down. I might just try and tuck those under there. Now, moment of truth, does it fit? The cable's in the way, but I think it will go. I think it's a wire holding it up right now, so I'll get the wire position better. But yeah, that's going to work. That's going to go in. Here we go, it's in. Brilliant. So I also need to put the cable tie in it before I seal it up, so I'm going to do that now before I forget. Okay, I'll shove the cable tie in there. It's got a little screw loop on there. Maybe do that with it and stick a screw to the side. I'm just going to drill a small hole there. I've just marked where the screw goes. And I've basically started it, but I want to drill a little hole, like a little pilot hole. That's better. So the screw will then go in a lot easier without splitting the wood. Not splitting the wood's quite important. Alright, so I'm putting a 100 milliamp fuse in, which we'll see if that's enough. Oh, now look, it doesn't line up. Oh, well, never mind. Oh, yeah, there you go, straight, there you go. Hopefully that's alright. So I should really check voltages inside and see what voltage we're actually getting when we plug in 240 volts. Just to be sure that what we're getting is what we expect. Do the safety checks first. And see if we've got any issues here. We should have an earth, hopefully. Earth pin. Can you see that? Yeah. Earth pin to a casing. Of course it's aluminium. There we go. The natural lead resistance is 0.2. So getting 0.3 to earth to the casing. So that's good. Between each side, that's fine. Now don't forget the on-off switch is after the transformer. So the transformer is always on. And the on-off switch is controlling the original transformer. Alright, so that one's always powered apart from the fuse. So it's a slight difference here. I mean, I could have run it through the switch as well, so the switch is controlling the main 240 volts. But I see this as being an extra level of isolation. Because when you're going through the transformer, it makes you effectively an isolation transformer. Effectively. So if something does go wrong, you've got a slightly better chance if it's after the transformer when you've got the switch. Maybe. It could be slightly better rather than going before it. I thought it's just a better way of doing it. I mean, I could have done it before, which was probably the better way to do it in some ways, but I did it after because that's what I wanted to do. If you complain about that, then oh well. But that's why we're getting a reading here, regardless of if it switches on or off. So 378, and she gets 378. So both switch distance doesn't matter because that's after the transformer. So that's okay. That's looking fine. Now what I want to do is obviously check the voltages and see what we're getting on the output. So we need to plug this in and try it. Could things go horribly wrong? Absolutely. Okay, well I've plugged it into the wall here, into this. I think this is set to full power. I think it is. I can't feel where it is. Yes, over there. So it's set to 230 volts. I will set lower. I just want to bring it up gently and to see what's going on with the transformers. Now obviously because I've insulated everything, it makes it a bit hard to probe. Now the neutral is there, so I can get to that. I can probe here and this will tell me what the transformer is outputting when it's turned on. I mean, actually in the off state, I think I can actually get to the pin there. Yeah, I can. So I can actually get to the output of the transformer. So I can see those and see what's coming out of the transformer when it's turned off, and then I can check it again when it's on. So that's fine. So let's turn it on. .70 volts coming in. No appreciable current draw. Just stick that on there, stick that on there. What are we getting? 36 volts, it's fine. Let's wind this up. Getting half a watt now. It's still 130 volts. Check the output here. 70, that's fine. Okay, let's go a bit further. It's doing 1 watt now. It's a 10 watt transformer, so that's absolutely fine. Obviously it will change when I turn the thing on, because then it'll be loading the other transformer as well. So let's do 230 volts, which is what I'd normally run this thing at, or thereabouts. Probe on here. 120 volts AC. Okay, let's turn the switch on. You ready for it to go bang? I might just lean back a bit. Okay, nothing went bang. Let's retest. Between here and here again, what are we getting now? 106. Oh, that's perfect actually. That's good. That's good. And that's drawing 8 watts. Excellent. Excellent. So it's within the ratings of the transformer. Let's go slightly higher with the input. Let's go 240 volt, which is what a line voltage normally would be around here. That's doing 10.9 watts. That's very slightly over the rating of the transformer. It's doing 0.1 amp. So the fuse I put in is a 100 milliamp fuse. There you go, 109 volts. That's perfect. So at 240 volts, it's borderline. I think that's probably okay. I think a 100 milliamp fuse is perfect as well. That's good. Let's put it back together. The one things we have, this terminal here, which is floating. This is meant for clipping on top of some valves. The problem is this attaches to the neutral wire. Okay, that's connected to the neutral through the switch here. So if I actually measure voltage on this, let's turn this back on again. I dropped the fluke on the floor just now, so it's going to be broken. That's okay, it's fine, it's a fluke. I'm sure it survived just fine. I'm going to show you something which makes you really careful about these things. Now, remember the original cable could go in either way around, which meant this could potentially be connected to the live connection directly. Yeah, not good. So if I shove this probe into that one, which is the live terminal, and I stick this on here, you watch the voltage on the meter. 115 volts. So in this case it's connected to neutral, so it's not too bad. But if you're in a system where you can change it around either way, you could be ended up connected to the hot/live connection rather than neutral. So this one here, from neutral to there is 21 volts. So yes, there's voltage either way. But it's going through a transformer, so it's got some isolation now, so it's slightly safer. So there you go, converted, all done. I think I need to have some kind of cover over this to protect that, so to keep it from being touched. One of the things you could easily forget about or not pay attention to. I think it needs something over it to protect it, make it safe. But anyway, done, converted, done. That now runs on 240 volts instead of 110. Excellent. Now the fuse, 100 milliamps, it's marginal. Once you actually put a valve in here, it's going to draw slightly more current. I mean, 100 milliamps, it might be alright. Maybe 150 would be better, maybe 200. 100 milliamps right now, unloaded is fine, but I think 150 is probably going to be better. I would have to look, see what I've got. But right now, that's 100, and it's working. If it blows, I'll put another one in, which is slightly bigger, because I was trying to figure out what it's going to handle. Now, like I said, the transformer's only rated for 10 watts, and it's sitting here at 10 watts at idle right now, so it's on the limit of what the transformer's rated for, which isn't good. I don't normally like to do that. I normally like to run things at about half of what they're rated for, so ideally I would put a 20 watts transformer in here. Problem is I wouldn't be able to fit it in. It's a compromise. Obviously the thing there is that you have to make sure you don't use it for too long so it doesn't get too hot and end up cooking itself. So as long as it's only used for a short period of time, not plugged in to power the whole time, it should be alright. The other thing I was going to look at, which I forgot to look at, was this neon indicator here. It was a bit dim. I was actually thinking about changing that. Oh well, maybe another time. But anyway, subscribe over there if you're not already subscribed. There's other videos to watch down there too. If you're interested in other things, I'll do lots of repairs and reviews and all sorts of stuff, and I think this is like the oldest technology I've got here. Apart from that, I've got these two old things. These are probably the two obvious things I own. Also, if you're interested, I've got a Patreon support link over there if you want to support the channel. A couple of dollars a month helps me quite a lot. If enough people subscribe and give me donations, I can buy a lot more test equipment and make a lot more videos about test equipment. Catch you later.